If you are a caregiver or an educator that focuses on helping young children learn English, then you are going to want to stick around for this video. We are talking all about how stories can help children learn English and develop early literacy skills. Now, many caregivers and educators have been led to believe that English is learnt best through formal textbooks, worksheets, vocabulary, spelling lists, and grammar practice drills. But all that actually does is set up high expectations and creates pressure on our children. It focuses on memorizing rather than a deeper understanding of what they're learning. Children actually learn best when their learning is taught in a meaningful way. And stories are able to offer that meaning. And that's what we're going to be focusing on together today. Now, first things first, let me introduce myself just in case you're new here to the OET. My name's Catherine and I'm a qualified teacher in the UK, online ESL educator, and I home educate my own children as well. Now, my work with the OET focuses on helping caregivers and educators support young children to learn early literacy skills and the English language confidently through stories and play. With affordable resources and everyday action, children are able to naturally improve their skills and develop a love for learning along the way. I'm really passionate about early education and helping children learn English in a holistic way with hands-on, multisensory activities that everyone can join in with. How do children actually learn? Well, I want you to think back about your children and how they learned their native tongue. I doubt very much that you actually sat down with them in front of textbooks at the age of 2, or maybe providing lists of vocabulary words that they needed to memorize. What probably happened was you played games with them. Maybe you played with their toys, you acted out different role play scenarios like shops or played doctors. You probably read some bedtime stories together as well. Maybe with the book you talked about the pictures, pointed to different images, and you modeled what you wanted your children to do. This is how your children picked up their native tongue, their native language. It wasn't forced, it wasn't pressured, it utilized resources that support how children learn naturally. So they learn through stories, through play, repetition, emotion, and real-life play-based scenarios. So why stories? Well, stories offer so much more than just the story itself. They create a meaningful learning experience where children can pick up language naturally. So with just one story, children can learn new vocabulary in context. They're able to hear the natural sentence patterns rather than individual grammar drills. They can understand meaning without having to translate every single word that's read. They feel emotionally connected to the story, the characters. They can repeat the language naturally, and stories can help build our children's confidence. So instead of learning isolated words where we teach children a list of words, like the example in the beginning, apple, hungry, tree, eat, instead, when we put these together in a story, the story provides language and context. It's helping to connect words together and providing an additional layer of understanding that a spelling list wouldn't offer. So instead of simply memorizing those words that we spoke about individually, children can connect words into meaningful sentences, which then in turn supports the easier retention of new language. So our second example, the boy saw a tree. It was full of apples. He was hungry, so he picked an apple from the tree to eat. We're putting together those individual words into formatted sentences so children can base their understanding of new vocabulary on the context clues in that sentence. Now, if you add an illustration to accompany those words, you're helping children, especially those who are visual learners, provide them with a visual representation of what they've actually read. So combining the full sentences of the story and a picture together with the illustration provides our children with everything that they need to help improve their understanding and language ability. So stories can support many different skills. Children are able to develop their imagination, which leads to increased ideas and creativity. They develop prediction skills, supporting comprehension, helping them understand what could happen next. It builds memory, so stories are often read multiple times, leading to repetition, opportunities to review new content, or helping improve retention of new words and concepts. And finally, emotion. Stories cover a range of topics and ideas, which can help children make sense of the world around them and improve their social emotional awareness as well. So, something else that stories can provide where textbooks and formal learning fails is children feel relaxed as they're learning. Stories provide a safe space. They remove external pressure and offer a calm learning space, which is important to help children take in information effectively. Stories help remove the fear of mistakes that most children do have, pressure to perform, and the need to translate every word or sentence. Let's put this into an everyday context as families or educators supporting our children. So, in a learning routine, we have to think about how would we utilize one specific story to help our children achieve and improve our language skills. So, first, stories work best when we don't just read the story, but we use one story across a full week. It's helpful to set up this weekly routine so children know what to expect. At the OAT, this is actually what we follow and what I recommend to my members. So on Mondays, I recommend caregivers read the story together. After they've read the story once, you can then use story props that you can make at home with any resources that you have and retell the story with the children. On Tuesday, we focus on the new vocabulary from the story. We can make some homemade flashcards out of paper and play some games to review the vocabulary. Wednesdays is all about creativity. We have fun making things together. For example, we might draw a picture, maybe of the scene in a story. Maybe we might create a new character, make a craft such as paper puppets that we can retell the story with. And all the while that we are creating, we're developing language skills, listening and understanding, following instructions, using new vocabulary, speaking confidence. Thursdays is all about having fun through games. We play games together, and this not only builds our English language and literacy skills, but also our social emotional development as well. So we could do things like finding items around our home, creating a scavenger hunt, a simple game such as I Spy with items from the book. Fridays is all about building those core literacy skills that we can use the story to help us with. So we can create some fun sensory activities like mark making or letter formation with Play-Doh. You could get a tuff tray with some shaving foam or sand, and children can mark different letters in the sand and the play foam to help them with their coordination, with their letter practice, and strengthening their finger muscles as well. Then at the weekend, it's all about bringing everything from the week together as a full final review. Now, instead of each core skill being isolated, e.g., phonics, vocabulary, grammar, writing, everything is themed surrounding one story for that week. And it's incorporating fun, active, hands on tasks that support development as well as our language skills. Let's put this together in what that would look like for a particular book. Now, I've taken some activities from our Elmer Story and Play activity pack, and I've put this together in our format for what we've just talked about, what we would do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday throughout the week. So here's an example. On Monday, we would read the story Elmer together. Then you could use the story props that are printable, you can cut them out, and you can use the play mats, which as pictures as shown under Monday, and you could, with your children, use the story props to retell the story together and practice any new vocabulary learnt. Tuesday is our vocabulary day. So you can print out the flashcards from the story and play activity pack, cut them out, and maybe play a game such as pairs or tic-tac-toe, where you have to recognize and find particular words or cards and be the first one to get 3 in a row. Wednesday was all about creativity, and here we've got a patchwork craft. Now, Elmer is all about teaching emotions and colors and friendship and fun. So, this craft is really great for helping to incorporate all of those elements together. You are provided with an instruction sheet and then a template of Elmer and Elmer written down the side with the elephant. And on here, children can use different resources from colors to paint. Maybe they want to use their fingerprint in paint, and they can create their own Elmer patchwork craft. You could even use fabric for this as well, cutting out fabric squares to stick on and design your own elephant. Then on Thursday, we are focusing on games. Here we have a rainbow walk / scavenger hunt. So if it's raining outside or you're not in an area where you're able to access the outdoors easily, you can create a rainbow walk in your house. This incorporates a rainbow walk frame. And what this is the children can color this in, and with your support, you can cut it out, and they have this frame where they can go and search for each color around the house. Or if you are able to get outside, that's brilliant. They can then identify different colors in nature, such as a brown fence, a green leaf, a blue, orange flower. And this is really good for bringing our learning from the story into real life. Friday, we're all about play and reviewing our core ESL skills. So this roll and cover is a great activity for helping practice new color vocabulary. So we roll the dice and we color in the correct color of the elephant. Saturday, we are reviewing everything that we've built on for the week, and this is particularly focusing on grammar skills now. Build a sentence. So we already looked at elephants, colors of elephants, colors in nature, and now we're bringing that together in a review activity where children can cut out the different words and stick them in the right order to build a sentence. Then on Sunday, it's our final activity of the week, focusing on reviewing the book and enjoying the learning. So here we have a really lovely elephant handprint craft. And although this sounds very simple, again, the whole time we are creating, we are discussing, we are reading instructions, we are talking about what we are doing, we are developing our comprehension and understanding skills. Our children are listening to us as we provide the next instruction. They are finding different materials based on what you're saying in English. So all the while, English language and literary skills are being built, but in a more fun and engaging hands-on method versus a traditional textbook or worksheet. So this is an example of what a week could look like with the story and play packs. You pick one story at home and you have different activities that you complete with your children throughout the week. Now, stories help all children develop. They can help with vocabulary, communication, confidence, emotional language. It doesn't matter if you're a native English speaker, non-native English speaker looking to learn English, maybe you're a home educator or your kids attend school. It doesn't matter. Stories benefit every child to develop stronger literacy and language skills from an early age. Now, something to remind you with, you don't need to be a qualified teacher and you don't need perfect English in order to help children develop literacy and language skills with stories. Your job is simply to be a role model and a facilitator. Help children understand how to engage with a story and that stories can be fun and exciting. Storytime doesn't have to end when the book closes. It offers opportunities for additional learning to take place. Now, minimizing overwhelm, make sure to focus on one story at a time. They're an incredible tool for building early literacy and English language skills. They remove pressure on children to know everything right away, and instead, they're inviting children to interact with each page in a fun and relaxing way. Then, once the story's finished, you can expand learning time with story themed activities, just like the example we showed earlier. Role play scenes, designing characters and settings, creating new endings, and so on. The activity ideas are endless. Now, if you did want a bit more support, then I might have just the right thing for you, the Print and Play Club. This is a membership that does all of the planning and thinking for you. It saves you time, money, and stress so you can focus on the learning at hand. Inside, you'll find printable story and play activity packs that accompany popular children's books, just like Elmer that we saw earlier in this session. Each pack offers a 7-day activity plan that you can follow along with at home, helping your children grow in confidence with their English language and literacy skills. If you have any questions at all, I would love to connect with you. You can find me on my website, theoet.com, on socials, at the Online English Teachers, or please feel welcome to join my Facebook group, Learn English Through Stories and Play. Thanks ever so much for hanging out with me today. I really hope that you have been able to take away from today's session how valuable stories are for our young children learning and building their literacy skills and their English language skills as well. I'll see you in the next session. Bye for now, friends.